Alright guys, on the last video we talked about operations with radical expressions involving addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and also distribution, which is multiplication. Today we're just going to do the division. So we're going to continue with that. So here are the nth root rules for the product. If you have a radical with two things being multiplied, you can actually separate them into two different radicals if you needed to at any point. And for the quotient, if you have a fraction that is under a radical, you can separate it as the numerator and the denominator both have the same radical. So just remember those two. Make sure that you write your name on your notes before turning them in. Go ahead and write your name on your notes now. Okay, this might be confusing to some, but I'm going to leave it in there in case you do understand it. If the denominator is just the square root of b, all you need to get rid of the radical in the denominator is to multiply by another square root of whatever b is. In order to make the solution grammatically correct in math, we need to remove all radicals from the denominator. So we can't have a square root or a cube root or a fourth root, any radical in the denominator of an answer. If you have the nth root of b to some power, then you're going to multiply by the nth root of b to the power of n minus x. So you need to make enough to make a group. I'll try to do this a little bit better on the examples. I know that this is confusing because you don't know what b is, what n is, and what x are. So with examples, hopefully it'll make more sense. Okay, so here is the example where we need to rationalize the denominator. That means get rid of the radical in the denominator. If you have a square root of a fraction, that is the same as having the square root of the numerator divided by the square root of the denominator. Now the denominator is the one that I'm going to focus on because that's the one that is important. If I take the square root of y to the 7th, it's not going to come out clean. I'm going to still have a square root there because I don't have enough y's to make a pair, all the pairs. If I have 7, I'm going to have 1 left over. What I need is 8. So what I can do is I can multiply this fraction by the number 1, but my 1 is going to look very different. I'm going to multiply it by the square root of just 1 extra y divided by the square root of 1 extra y. So this square root of y divided by the square root of y, anything divided by itself equals 1. And that's why I can do this, because multiplying by 1 does nothing. It doesn't change what this number is. But doing that will help me get, instead of 7 y's in the denominator, a total of 8 y's in the denominator. When we multiply y to the 7th times y, which is y to the 8th. And now I have enough to make another whole group. In the top, I would have y to the x to the 6th times y. And the top doesn't matter if it doesn't have enough groups, but the bottom, since I can't have a radical in the denominator, the bottom is important. So right here, if I take the square root of y to the 8th, if I have 8 y's, I can make a total of 4 groups. And there, the radical is gone. Here, x to the 6th, I can make 3 groups. 3 times 2 is 6, but I can't make any groups with the y. That's okay. I'll just have a square root of y left over. As long as it's in the top, it's fine. And this would be our final answer. And we can't simplify a x and a y, so that's all we can do. Okay, I'm going to give you one to try on your own. So go ahead and pause the video here and try this one on your own. Okay, so for this example, you needed an extra b in the denominator to make a total of 6, so that way you have an even number of 3 groups. The top has a square root of ab left over. You can make 4 groups of a. That would be 8, and then 1 left over since we had 9. So this should have been your answer. Okay. Now, if you have the nth root, instead of a square root, if you have the nth root, so the fourth root of 6 divided by the fourth root of 5x. Now, I can't have the radical in the denominator. 5 is already a prime number. I only have one 5 and I have one x. So in order to make the full group, I would need 3 more of the 5s. I would need 3 more 5s. And that would make a total of 4. And then for the x's, I have one x, so I would need 3 more x's as well. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by that so that it's really just the number 1. And now this way, the fourth root of 6 times 5 cubed, x cubed. And then here it would be the fourth root of 5. Now instead of having 3 and 1 would make a total of 4, which means there's enough to make one group. And 3 and 1 right here also make 4 x's, which would make another group. And then I'm just going to simplify the top. 6 times 5, 5 cubed, that's going to be 750. So the fourth root of 750, x cubed. And I already know I can't make any groups of 4 because 6 is 2 times 3. And here I have, oh, actually, no. I have 5 3s. 3 5s. 1, 2, 3. So there's no group of 4s anywhere here. But in the bottom, I have 4 5s, so that would make a 5. And I have 4 x's, so that would make an x. And this would be as simplified as possible. Okay. Okay, last one here, rationalizing the denominator, but now instead of just a square root, we have a square root minus a whole number, so minus 1. And what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply just like we did with the complex numbers. We multiply by the conjugate. So change the sign in the middle. Change middle sign. So if the sign in the middle is subtraction, you're going to change it from subtraction to addition. And we're still going to have to multiply both top and bottom, so it's really just the number 1. And then distribute. So 2 times the square root of 5. Remember how we multiply: outside times outside, inside times inside. So 2 square root of 5 plus 2 times the 1 would then be 2. Over the bottom here is going to be a box method. And this is why we need to multiply by the conjugate. So when I do the box method, you'll see I have the square root of 5 minus 1 and the square root of 5 plus 1. The square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 25, which is just 5. Square root of 5 times negative 1 is negative square root of 5. Square root of 5 times positive 1 is positive square root of 5. And then 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So the reason why we need to multiply the conjugate is because these two now, they have the same index and the same radicand. A negative square root of 5 and a positive square root of 5 would eliminate. And all you're left with is the 5 minus 1. So that is just 4. And then we can simplify all of these because we look at the number on the outside here of the radicals. 2, 2, and 4 are all divisible by 2. So we're going to divide all of these by 2. 2 square root of 5 divided by 4, we can reduce this fraction. 2/4 is really 1/2 square root of 5. Plus 2/4 is, again, 1/2. So we can say the square root of 5 over 2 plus 1/2, like this. Or we could say the square root of 5 plus 1 all over 2, like this. Okay, so that is division.